All right, Candace, thank you very much. Well, with school out and the kids are home for the summer, many parents are likely wondering how to keep them busy without resorting to hours of screen time.
Oh, yes. So joining us in studio with some tips and tricks on how to do just that, we have Dr. Nicole Berkins. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So, Nicole, I'm sure there's a lot of parents that are like, please help.
Yeah.
How do I do this?
Yeah. So I have a few general tips that I think are great starting points, because one of the challenges, especially if kids are used to a lot of screen time, it can be hard to cold turkey that or to cut back in major ways. So some things that can be helpful and reduce stress for parents are identifying some specific times and places where we're not going to use devices. Meal times are a great start. We're going to do device-free dinners. We're going to do device-free meals as a family, which means everybody, parents included, need to set their devices aside. We're going to enjoy our meal and conversation together. Another area where screen time really starts to add up is when kids are using them in the car. Right. And while certainly, if we're headed to grandma's house, 5-hour, car ride, certainly watching videos, playing games makes sense. But for just driving around town, kids really don't need to have a screen to do that. It's far better for them to just spend time chatting, looking out the window, being bored, whatever it is that they want to do, because those little time periods, 15 minutes to the grocery store, 20 minutes here, that adds up. And again, we're trying to reduce the overall amount of time.
One of the things I wanted to talk about is when a kid who is using their phone quite often, and then something happens, you take the phone from them. For them, I feel like it's like they have an addiction, and it's withdrawal. And maybe a few days later, you start to see a kid that resembles your son or your daughter.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so initially it's tough, because kids, especially as they get into the preteen and teen years, if they've had access to a phone all the time, there is sort of an addictive quality to that, and they start to be anxious about missing out on things, and I'm not up on everything. And so when you first do pull back on that, you're going to get pushback. Kids are going to be grumpy, they're going to be irritable, they're going to be argumentative, and you have to ride that wave out. So you just know that for the first day, 2, maybe 3 days, not going to be real pleasant. But on the other side of that is a kid who is now much more engaged in real life and much better able to set those aside and go and do other things. And you have a really much more pleasant kid to spend time around.
Do you have any other questions? I feel like this is all you.
No, go ahead. No, you go for it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the one thing that you brought up earlier with the list that you had mentioned, like specifically for summer, too.
Yes, absolutely. So I recommend for families to focus on what they want their kids doing besides screen time and to prioritize that first. So leaving a list for kids of, here's the things that need to get done before we're going to access screens today. Before I give you the Wi-Fi password, or before I turn your device on or give you your device. Things like getting outside to play, getting some chores done, taking care of your hygiene, maybe spending time with kids out in the yard, those types of things. Prioritize that. Say, these are the expectations. Clearly lay that out. And once you've done all those things, then we can do screen time after that.
Which may sound great, but that's the reality that so many parents are, that you have to do that.
That's exactly right. And it just keeps it clear, and it cuts down on the arguments and just the stress and the drama that can come up.
Anything? Avery could talk.
We could have a whole session, but hey, let folks know how they can get a hold of you if they want to, talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my clinic in town is Horizons Developmental Resource Center, and we're on the web at horizonsdrc.com. I also have a great tech guide that's available. Parents can download it for free. It's drnicoletechguide.com. Goes into much more depth on this and gives people with kids of all ages lots of really practical tips. So they're welcome to go to the web and download that.
And we'll get that posted on our website